generally you would like change to be for the better. And then, of course, there's the no pain, no gain kind of thing, you know? Yeah, which, I mean, I've never really subscribed to that. Exactly. It's a technical term. It's a metaphysical term. So you don't have to have that. You don't have to have pain to gain. Yeah. So our next presenter is a coach who sort of embodies that. She's a radical change expert. Let me look at my notes. A results-oriented coach. Not a here's some ideas, that maybe you could probably, no, this is like, here's some things that'll get you results. Do these, and you'll see these results. A law of attraction expert. And, this is good. I'll save this for the last. So she's going to help you build a healing foundation. She has a 3-step hooponopono procedure that can be done in 30 days. And she is also a hooponopono wizard. So, we're off to see the wizard. Please welcome Dr. Mary Oz.
So good morning.
Good morning.
Are you ready?
Yes.
I'm ready too. So, back at home, I've been doing hooponopono for a little over 5 years, and I've been able to have the gift of teaching it to women for the last 3 years. And one of the things we do whenever we begin a coaching group is we take a deep breath of appreciation. So we've been talking about the importance of breath this weekend, and hasn't this been an amazing weekend?
Yes.
So I think it's only fit that we all together take a breath of appreciation. So the way we do that is, I will count to 3, and at the same time, we'll take Joe style. We're all going to breathe in, count to 7. I'll count to 7. I'll say the word appreciate 7 times. And every time I say appreciate, I want you to appreciate something different that happened this weekend. Are we all in?
Yes.
All right. So ready, get set, go, breathe in. Appreciate, 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 and breathe out. So today, very nicely done. Today we're going to be talking about radical change with hooponopono. And this talk really came from what I've been doing the last few years. And I am a licensed certified social worker, a therapist. I've had the privilege to work as a therapist for the last 30 years. About 15 years ago, I discovered life coaching, which I combined the two, and my practice began to soar. And I've also had the privilege of working, and has anyone ever heard of Anthony Robbins? So I've trained with Anthony Robbins as a results-oriented coach, and I had the privilege of working with him for 2 years. But my real joy is these days, I have been a hooponopono trainer back at New York, and I actually have 10 coaches, hooponopono coaches, sharing the message that we've been talking about this weekend. So I'm really excited to share with you about those results. I have to say one thing though. I don't get afraid about a lot of things. I don't usually let fear catch up with me, but one thing, this is divinity, right? One thing that really gets me is techno problems. So you guys saw that it took us a little while to set up. So one of my fears was just conquered because I have my lovely slide presentation. So I have all those wonderful things. I'm a therapist, I'm a coach. I love all that. I love my life. But there's also been struggles at times, right? So I've been a single mom for a really long time. So long, I'm not even going to tell you. I am overcommitted and overworked at times, which catches up with me physically at times. Sometimes I find myself out of balance, and just like you guys, I have to align. I don't always make enough time for self-care. And this is, I wrote this slide before I came here, and now that I experienced the weekend, I'm thinking differently about this last sentence. Sometimes I find myself frustrated that I'm not there yet. But then again, I think Joe would say, where is there yet? Right? So there's always a struggle side. But what I really want to talk to you about today is how much these two books have radically changed my life. So I think it's in this book. maybe Tanya knows better, but somewhere in one of these two books, Joe talks about shit hitting the fan. You guys recall that? It's in the beginning, right? And I'm going to talk to you today about the good shit hitting the fan, also known as the good stuff. So that's what we're going to focus on. And what I found is after I read the first book, unexpected and powerful changes found their way into my life again and again. Some I asked for, and some I didn't ask for. But in the end, as I prepared this talk, just for this weekend, I realized, wow, everything's changed. So 2 unexpected lessons that came to me immediately from hooponoponoing is trusting and timing, and trusting in the timing. So I didn't know about the book, and a friend of mine, Patty, she's about 70 years old, she's disabled. She used to live in Hawaii, and she says to me, Mary, I'm going to Hawaii for an entire month. Would you like to come visit me for a week? I said, you know what, Patty, I'm really busy. She's like, come on, Mary. I said, all right, I'll make you a deal. I play poker, and I love to make deals. So I said to her, I will go all the way to Hawaii with you if you go deep sea fishing with me. Because I love deep sea fishing, and I've never gone. Turns out, Patty, of all people, loves deep sea fishing, and she says, absolutely. So we set up the trip, and about a month later, a coach of mine told me, did you read Zero Limits? And I hadn't. I hadn't heard of it. And she told me it's about a therapist or a psychiatrist healing people. So I was like, I'm all over it. And I'm going to Hawaii. What better book to read, right? Timing. You hear the timing, right? So I read the book. I love it. And I go deep sea fishing. And guess what happens? 202-pound blue marlin. The first time I ever, and only time, I've gone deep sea fishing. Now, you have to understand, Patty lived in Hawaii, and her friends were there. They go out for blue marlin every weekend for 25 years, and they haven't caught a blue marlin. So now, did I know back then that the timing and the trust in lesson was coming from Ho'oponopono? I didn't. It took a while for me to see it. So today, you are in the right place if you need more healing, love, health, peace, and money. If you want to help others heal. If you love easy and powerful. If you need more clients, momentum, more abundance. If you want to attract people. Anybody have some unconscious blocks that they want to lose? Limiting beliefs might still be getting in the way. Or if you're ready for big life changes. Anybody ready? Radical change as well. So actually, if you don't mind, I tend to teach a lot, so I'm going to ask you to write this down. Like when I say something really important, I'm going to ask you to grab some pen and paper and write this down. So you want to ask yourself the right, powerful question. After reading Joe's both books, I said to myself, I wonder what Ho'oponopono healing could bring me. And I just decided to personalize it. I said to myself, if Dr. Hugh Lin, as a psychiatrist, could get that radical change that he got, what can I do as a therapist, right? So I asked myself that exact question. So I want you to write that question down. If Dr. Hugh Lin could heal an entire ward of criminally and mentally insane patients, what radical change could I get, meaning you, what radical change could you get by Ho'oponoponoing? And then it occurred to me, well, let's look at Joe's life, because Joe's been Ho'oponoponoing a long time, and I read his book, and I thought, hey, this guy, now I like fast cars. This guy, he tracks every car under the sun that he wants, every cigar, and every guitar. Now, those 3 things I didn't want to attract, but I wanted to learn how to combine Ho'oponopono with law of attraction. So I put another question out there, which was, if Joe could attract all those things, I wonder what I could attract. Another great question for you guys. So today, I will teach you how to get radical change. So what happened is after I read the books, I started to feel inspired that I should create a 3-hour seminar. So I put together a healing seminar, and we called it Advanced Hooponopono Secrets. And I just kind of listened to inspiration like Joe's been talking about. We had about 18 people show up. And what we actually did at the seminar was I taught them 4 phrases. I taught them a little bit about the history of Hooponopono. We did EFT tapping. Funny that Joe would mention it right now. We used an eraser. So somewhere in the books, or Dr. Hewlin teaches that whenever he does a seminar, he takes a pencil with an eraser, and he taps on all the participants' names. And that gave me an idea. So what if at this seminar, we created a worksheet where people could dump everything that's bothering them? Any person that ever hurt them, male or female, any car accident, house that they lost, or anything bad that happened in their life. And then we would take an eraser at the seminar, and we would clean on it together. And that's exactly what we did. We also did the morning prayer, and we just tapped and spent about 3 hours together. Now, to my surprise, here's the first thing that happened. First that night, my phone started to blow up. Oh my gosh, Mary, that was so beautiful, thank you. Okay. But the next morning, I was going to work, it was Saturday, and I work at 9 o'clock in the morning, and I had a woman that was going to come to see me. Now, she was a fairly new client. She came to me because she was in physical pain for 7 years. And she had done everything, like acupuncture, everything she could try, she tried. And she could not get out of physical pain. So I had gotten used to seeing her look a certain way. She would come in, and I would see the pain in her face. This particular morning, so my office has a wall, so I come out of my office, and I peer into my waiting room, and the first thing in my head I say, what is my client's teenage daughter doing in my waiting room? Because it didn't even look like her. My original thought was, where's my patient? Where's my client? She looked so young and so relieved. Then I took a second look. Oops, let me give you the picture. So then I took a second look, and I realized she was dressing differently. She had tight jeans on, a nice free-flowing shirt, and her face said it all. And I was like, wow, that must have been a really good seminar last night you went to. So then the next thing that happened was another woman called me. This is not her real name, but we'll call her Pam. And over the phone, she says to me, Mary, that was amazing last night. That Hooponopono is really special. She said, I wanted to thank you. She said, about 7 years ago, I made a decision in my life that I regret that I made. And I was so angry at myself that I transferred it to being angry at God. And after the Hooponopono seminar, I reconnected with God for the first time in 7 years. And she said, I feel like I went home. And I was like, whew. Wonder where that seminar came from. So then after the seminar, I figured this is really powerful. I should do something for the people in the seminar. So we did monthly meetings. And about 4 or 5 weeks, there was 5 weeks afterwards, there was a woman who stood up in the group, and she was all emotional. She could barely talk. And it turns out that she had a very rocky relationship with her mother her entire life, going all the way back to teenage years. They would talk, they would not talk, they would not talk for years. And at the seminar, I specifically asked people to write down the 3 areas that you want Hooponopono to help you the most with. And the one that she wanted more than anything was the relationship with her mom to be healed. So 1 week after the seminar, she gets a phone call. It's her mother. They have a lovely conversation, about 2 hours. They reconnect. Week 2, they have another lovely conversation for an hour. Week 3, beautiful conversation. Week 4. Week 5, she doesn't get a call from her mom. She doesn't get a call from her mom. She gets a call from her brother. Her mom passed away. Talk about the timing, right? So she ended up reconciling with her mother before her mother passed on. Really powerful. And of course, we all have seen back at home on Long Island, lots of money flow. And I'm actually going to show you some numbers. I'm a numbers person. It's probably why I play poker. Pretty good at poker if anybody wants a challenge over the weekend. But I'm going to show you how money is flowing in Long Island just from teaching hooponopono. But then I realized the astonishing and the astounding results that I'm getting was the exact radical change that I had asked for, right? I put the question out there. I wonder what radical change will come to me if I teach hooponopono. So I took some more action. And I invited 12 women to come together for free, and that I would teach them hooponopono and law of attraction and something called results-oriented living. And we got 10 people committed and showed up, and we were going to do this for 90 days. And the group ended up being so powerful, we went on for 10 months, and nobody left the group. In fact, in New York, we sometimes have snowstorms, apparently that I cause and avoid. And I think I'm predicting one for this Monday when I have to fly home as well. But we had a snowstorm, and all these women, and 3 of them were afraid to drive in the snow, called me the day we were having a snowstorm, and they were like, "Don't you cancel group, we're coming." I was like, okay, group is on. So the topic was creating radical change with hooponopono, and we got even more astonishing results. So the first one I want to tell you was, we started to focus on what's now possible with hooponopono. And the first woman was Donna. She had just gotten her hypnotherapy certification. She was doing some sessions out of her basement, and after applying everything, within, I'd say 2 months, she found herself in a new office. 3 months later, a bigger office. She went from just learning, certified, till she has such a full-time practice right now, I can't even catch her on the phone. I now know how frustrating it is when you're busy and you're looking for somebody. Then there's Jessica and Lisa. Both Jessica and Lisa, through this process, became my associates as counselors. And Lisa was working part-time, and she came aboard as my associate, and we were able to help her manifest a full-time practice in 90 days. 90 days. That's amazing. Then we have another Jessica. I love telling this story. So Jessica, there's a different Jessica. She's in the group, and one of our weeks we focus on law of attraction and money. And you fill out a sheet about what are you making every day, what are you making every week, what are you making monthly, what are you making yearly, and then what's your joyful intended income. Would you guys like to have a joyful intended income? And Jessica filled that out, and she was a high school counselor making $75,000. And when we do this, I talk to everyone about stretch your mind, right? If you're making 75, don't say you want to make 100. Like double your income or triple your income. So Jessica listened, and she wrote down she wanted to make $150,000 in the next 8 to 10 months. Well, 8 months later, Jessica was calling me. This is like, so one of the things we learned from all these groups is a new term got coined called positive unexpected twist. So Jessica calls me with her positive unexpected twist. "Oh my God, Mary, thank you, thank you, thank you. You're not going to believe what happened." She's incredibly young. She's like 27. She's probably been a high school counselor for 4 or 5 years. She got an assistant principal position. Now, if anyone's a teacher, you don't go from new guidance counselor to assistant principal at 27. I have 35, 40-year-old clients, other clients that are trying to do that. She got the position. And along with her position came a $73,000 raise. Now, she didn't hit 150, but she was really happy she hit 148. So Roxanne, another amazing story. Roxanne, just a very close friend of mine, she's a little spitfire. She's all of like this high, but lots of energy. She's been told for years that she would not be able to have a baby. She had some issues when she was a teenager. So she comes to the group, and the first thing we do week 1 in this group is when you come back the next week, and I say, bring in a happy picture. Bring in a picture from a magazine or something that represents your happiness. So she comes in, and this is like a group of 12 women, And she's showing us a picture, and when she's all done, we're like, Roxanne, you don't seem like over the moon happy with that picture. So she goes, ha ha, gotcha. And she flips it over, and there's a picture of a baby. And she says, what would really make me happy is if I could have my own baby. And we just said, okay. And we said, we're all hooponopono, and you should hooponopono. And she did, and she cleared on that. And in one of my future slides, I'll show you her baby Ryan. We have another woman in the group. I'll jump in ahead a little bit, but there's another woman in the group, same Jessica as before, the first Jessica I told you about. She's expecting twins. She wasn't supposed to get pregnant. Then we have something called Dr. Mary's Spa Dream, which I'm going to fill you in more later on. But radical change could be, I need more money, I need a healing with my mom, or what's my bigger, brighter, better future going to be, right? What does divine have intended for me? We are the kind of people in here that want to make a difference in the world, right? That's what brought you here, right? So you want to know from divine, is there a legacy that you're supposed to leave, right?